Look at this person on this cafe racer. Is this woman in the fur coat the same sort of person who would ride this? Or is this a totally different person? This person on a cruiser, is that totally different? Or what about these people? Are these totally different people who would ride these sort of motorbikes? Or these? Are these totally different as well? Or this person? Would be all the same. Just rip my jeans. What's a quarter stay? Seriously, looking up there. There. I get a totally different reaction when I'm on the Scrambler or the Cafe Racer to when I'm on the cruiser. Some people acknowledge you and other people don't. So when I'm on the cruiser, all the other cruiser people nod. When I'm on the Scrambler, which is only half a Scrambler at the moment, the cruiser people don't acknowledge me, really. Other bikers do. And it's that whole sort of weird snobbery that we all have. I don't. Look at all these different bikes, so many different styles, but we're all bikers, and just because we choose a different style of bike doesn't mean we're different people. So go on then. So talking about people's preconceptions and misconceptions about bikes and the people that ride them by other bikers and people who don't have bikes. Can you think of any? No.
If you were talking about maybe your average person in the streets or someone driving past on a Harley Davidson with scruffy clothes on, they'd probably assume they were a Hell's Angel.
Yeah.
Which obviously they could be the local vicar.
Yeah.
You know, assuming that everyone who rides around on a sports bike is an 18-year-old who's doing 100 miles an hour. And yet I remember pulling up at a little seaside venue not long ago, and there was a load of Fireblades and R1s all lined up, and the gents sitting around a table in a cafe next to them must have been all in their late 70s. But if you saw them riding past with their helmets on and a dark visor, you'd assume it's some lunatic 18-year-old who's just trying to be a race star.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
And before, look at the camera. Because you're interested in it because you've got lots of different bikes, haven't you? Different sort of styles. Because you've got a Harley. So these don't float my boat at all, but these ones do. This is what I'm always drawn to. All the cruisers. And the cafe racers I like as well. Sometimes the sports bikes, but always the cruiser.
The next time we see them on a classic 70s Italian superbike and think I was a millionaire collector.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, but I'm still the same person, just different bikes. So, I'd say people will draw their own conclusions of what they think through stereotypes. But most of 99% of the time, they won't be accurate.
And with sales and things like that, what would you say most people like? What would you say most popular?
And you'll find that, especially with bikes like the GS Adventure, 98% of those people will never venture that bike off into anything challenging at all. They might do the odd little fire track road through the woods, that sort of thing, but they'll very rarely ever try and take it anywhere serious off-road where there's any chance of it being dropped, because it's too big and heavy for that.
It's the style that they're buying into.
But it is funny, so if I'm on the cruiser and I'm small and I'm a woman as well, I find that certain people don't acknowledge me. Normally it's sort of like older men on 125s or something like that, and I'll be riding along and I'll see another motorbike, and then they'll see it's a big motorbike, and then they'll see it's a woman on the motorbike, and then they look away. Absolutely. It's as if, I don't know, they feel emasculated. Not all of them, but some of them. When I'm on the Cafe Racer,
Everyone loves this bike, but still they see you as a totally different person. They might like the bike, but they think that you're different to them.
there is this thing with cruiser riders, and they think they're really cool.
And I think they're really cool as well, but that's just my opinion.
And it is weird. And I remember when I first started riding, I thought, you have these stupid preconceptions. And everybody does, really. So I used to think, I shouldn't say this, but I would think certain people who rode certain bikes would be boring or something like that. Since working in a motorcycle dealership, I don't think that at all, because you meet everybody with all these different bikes, and you see, like, the most popular ones are BMWs. I think, as well, adventure bikes are most sort of popular at the moment. And I think adventure bike riders are pretty inclusive, really. They sort of nod at everyone. And then as well, being a woman, you get even more preconceived ideas.
You're into bikes, you're into all sorts of bikes.
I have people judging me.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, being a lady biker, there will be preconceptions, because it's not as commonplace as seems to be a male-dominated environment, doesn't it? So, I'm not surprised by that.
So, in our local town, there's a motorbike cafe, and I used to ride past it, and there were so many people out there that I used to think I'd want to sort of stop and then just feel not intimidated, because they're not intimidating, really. But I knew that because of the noise of the bike, and it's so big and I'm small, you have to go forwards and back into the place, and it's on a bit of a, camber. It's those times when you are nervous that it might just happen. So I was really nervous, really shaking, but they didn't know that, and then I backed it in. And then I got off and took my helmet off, and then when I did, one of the blokes said, "Skills," to me, and I thought, that's nice. But then I thought, if that was another bloke, he wouldn't have said skills, because it's quite patronising, really. And I know that he meant it nicely and as a compliment, but it was quite embarrassing.
There's another thing as well. I'm a mechanic. People are always shocked when I say that I'm a motorcycle mechanic. And I don't know if it's because of my sex, or the way that I look, or the way that I speak. And even that's odd as well, because recently I was out riding somewhere and I had to stop to ask for directions. And I stopped and asked this bloke, and then he just looked dumbstruck, and he said, "You're very well spoken for a biker," which is just a mad thing to say, because we're just people. So, whatever it is that you ride, you're still a biker. just the same as anybody else on their motorbikes, and there's no room for snobbery or prejudice or anything else. So next time you see a biker, whatever you're on, say hello. Go on. I love anything really, unless it's something too big and too bulky, because I'm really small.